Hi guys, welcome back to Easy Pro. In this tutorial, we will understand bitmaps and how to trace bitmaps in CorelDRAW. Without further delay, let's get started. Let's start by differentiating between a bitmap image and a vector image. A bitmap image, also known as a raster image, is made up of pixels, which are tiny colored squares, and each pixel has its own color and position, which makes up the overall image. So if we were to zoom to the bitmap image, you would notice the tiny colored squares that make up the image of the cupcake. On the other hand, a vector image is made up of shapes, lines, curves, and points that are defined by mathematical equations. We could produce the same vector image of the cupcake by using a combination of rectangles, circles, and lines. For a vector image, the quality remains the same when we zoom in or out. Now that we have understood the differences, let's see how we can convert a vector object to a bitmap image. To do this, you select the object, then go to the menu bar and select Bitmaps. Then click on Convert to Bitmap. Here you have resolution where you can adjust the quality of the bitmap image. You can also select a color mode for the bitmap image. In the options section, we have anti-aliasing, and this makes the image to have smoother edges and improved image quality. It will also help to reduce the number of pixels. Next, we have transparent background, and you can select it if you don't want the image to have any background. We now have a bitmap image. You can also convert a bitmap image to another bitmap image by adjusting the color modes. So let's change the color mode to grayscale. Here we have the third, and this helps to create patterns of neighboring pixels. Let's see how we can convert the bitmap image back to a vector object. To perform this action, we will utilize the CorelDRAW trace feature. There are multiple trace options that will give you a different result. We start by using the quickest trace option. So you select the bitmap image, then go to Bitmap, then click on Quick Trace. Quick Trace analyzes the bitmap image, identifies the shapes and edges, and creates corresponding vector paths. We now have a vector object and we can change its fill, outline, and other properties. We can treat it as a regular curved object. Let's see what would happen when we quick trace a bitmap image with a gradient fill. So instead of having a single curve object, Quick Trace distinctively separates the fill of the bitmap image into vector paths. We can ungroup the objects and separate its components. You can also weld them together to one single object and give it a unique fill. There are more effective ways of converting a bitmap image to a vector object. So let's select the bitmap image, then come up here to trace bitmap. Come down to outline trace, then select line art. So we are currently in power trace, and under the settings menu we have trace type. So you can either select center line for more detail or outline for simple detail. Image type, we have line art, and this traces the image with solid lines, ignoring textures and gradients. Here you can adjust the detail, smoothing, or corner smoothness to your preference. We do not currently have any image in the preview box because we need to specify the background color that should be removed. And since our bitmap image has a transparent background, CorelDRAW automatically removes the red color of the bitmap image. So we need to click on Specify, and this slant red line indicates that no color is selected to be removed. So we can come back to detail and adjust it better. You can also zoom into the preview to make sure that the edges are to your preference. So under objects, we have merge adjacent, and this helps to reduce the object complexity. So under image, you can decide to delete the original bitmap image or leave it as it is. We now have a vector object, and you can always adjust its fill and other properties. So let's go back to trace bitmap, outline trace, then select logo. So as you can see, under image type we have logo, and logo traces images with more detail. You would notice that in the preview box, a portion of the vector image is not visible. So if we click on specify, we can now see the portion of the image. So if you come right here, we have specify background color to be removed. So if you click on this particular color, you see that it is removed. And since we don't want any of the colors to be removed, you can simply click on the white background here. So in the object section, you don't really have to change anything. Then click on OK. Trace bitmap, outline trace, then select detailed logo. So if you notice down here, we have time estimate, and the size of the bitmap image determines how long the trace will be carried out. So image type says detailed logo, and this traces the image with intricate details, textures, and gradients. It is quite similar to logo. As always, you can adjust the details, smoothing, and corner smoothness. Click on specify. So let's go back to trace bitmap, outline trace, then select clip art. Now clip art traces the image with simple shapes and bold lines. Trace bitmap, outline trace, then let's select low quality image. This traces the image with low resolution and limited color depth. And finally, let's go to trace bitmap, outline trace, then select high quality image. And this traces the image with high resolution and clearer details. Now it looks like we have just one clear vector image, but if I was to move it away, you would notice that several objects are combined to create a detailed vector object. Now we can also convert a text object to a bitmap image. So you select the text object, bitmap, convert to bitmap, then select OK. Now we have a text bitmap image, and we can also convert it back to a vector object. Trace bitmap, outline trace, line art. Line art is usually suitable for logo images or objects that don't have too much detail. Converting a text bitmap image back to a vector object would not give you a text object. Rather, you have a curved object. Now let's convert the text object to a bitmap image. But this time, let's deselect transparent background. So let's convert it back to a vector object, trace bitmap, outline trace, then select line art. So in the preview box, you will notice that the white background of the bitmap image was embedded in the enclosed regions of the vector image. Now you would not really notice the white because the background of my page is also white. So if I were to draw another object underneath, now the whites are visible and you can proceed to delete them. You can also perform this action by simply moving the object one at a time. Select the next object, then press Ctrl R to repeat the action. You can also select multiple objects at once. Then press Ctrl R to repeat the action. Then you can delete what is left. Now let's import a bitmap image and trace it to a vector object. So you go to Trace Bitmap, Outline Trace, then select Line Art. You can zoom into the preview to make sure the curves are perfect. You can always come here to adjust the detail and smoothing to your preference. Now if you zoom in, you will notice that little fractions of the bitmap image are embedded in the vector image. So like we did with the white, you can simply select it and delete it. You would also notice that most of the edges of the curved object are not smooth. As you can see, we have so many nodes, and you can always delete them and adjust them to have smoother edges. It is important to note that when you trace a bitmap image to a vector object, you won't always get a perfect or smooth object. And this is because of several factors such as the resolution of the bitmap image, the colors that make up the bitmap image, and so on. Now let's import a more complex image and see the differences in the tracing. So out of all the traces, you would notice that the high quality image trace traces the complex object best. So guys, that's all for today. In the next video, I'll teach you how to trace more precisely using other techniques. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.